This mug used to have a logo on it, but not anymore. It faded away. Now it's completely blank. Like a blank canvas. Do you see where I'm going with that? Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. Today we're drawing on a mug. Isn't that exciting? I'm bored of always drawing in a sketchbook. Or on paper even. What a better change than drawing on a mug. The canvas is not rectangular, the surface has literally zero grit and is impossibly slick, and it's not even flat. Plus, I get to use a Staedtler permanent marker because no other pen I usually use would leave a mark on this mug. I like the idea of drawing on something other than paper. If you have any idea of what other surface I could use, provided that I can put it on my desk, leave your suggestion in the comments. I'd love to do it again. And subscribe, of course, to see when I do it. I have to say, at first I wasn't planning on drawing on this mug. I wanted to do it on my water glass. It's not actually a glass, but it isn't a bottle either. I drank water out of an empty coffee container. You see, I drink a lot of water, and the coffee container is a really good size for it. It's got the capacity of like 4 normal glasses, so I don't have to refill it that often. I could drink out of a bottle, but with this, the opening is as large as a glass, and I like it better. Plus I drink so much coffee, I have a lot of these pots laying around, so I wanted to reuse it. I already use a few to contain rice and couscous and cereals and stuff. Also, I live alone and there's nobody who can judge me, so I might as well do what I want. If I want my water in a glass coffee thing, I can. Anyway, the whole point is that I wanted to draw on that at first. Because this is a new thing I've never done, I experimented with how I would film it. Turns out the ring light I use, which is around the webcam for the top-down view you're watching, well, it makes really strong reflections on the glass, and because it's transparent, you basically can't see what I'm drawing on it. So I gave up for the glass thing and turned to this mug. At least it's not transparent, and it's more rounded, so the light isn't always straight where I'm drawing. Apart from that, I imagine the drawing experience is basically the same. For someone so used to drawing on paper like me, and I imagine most traditional artists too, this was a strange experience to say the least. I definitely recommend it to anyone who's willing to try. I'm not using anything fancy here. I'm pretty sure everyone has access to it. I'm using an old mug, as I said in the intro. It used to have a design on it, but it's faded away with time. If you don't have a blank mug, I'm positive you can find it in any store for less than $5. As for the pen, I took this one from my lab supplies because I use it a lot for work, to write on metal or plastic. It also works on ceramics, but it's not any fancy pen. It happens to be an F-size Staedtler pen, but any permanent marker would work. As I said, anybody can try it. One thing I'm concerned about with this mug is the use I can get out of it afterwards. Unlike paper, this drawing will most likely not survive for long. Even if it's a permanent marker, the lifetime of this drawing will be pretty limited. While drawing, my fingertips slowly turn grey, as did the doodle. If my fingers can mess up the darkness of the ink, a wash or two would probably kill it completely. But I have other mugs, so I can keep this one on my shelf for now, I guess. Drawing on the mug is much harder than on paper, something that isn't very surprising. Because of the sleek surface, it's very easy to press too hard and make the pen slip. Slippage is real and hard to deal with if you don't want to ruin the pattern. That was true especially on the edge near the bottom of the mug and on the handle, basically anywhere the angle changes drastically. Because of that, I had to draw much slower than I usually do. This video is the full sped up footage of the 2-hour-long process. Can you believe it? I spent exactly 2 full hours on this and only did about a third of the total available surface, I believe. And of course, I'm not considering the inside of the mug because I don't want ink to get into my coffee for obvious reasons. There are 2 main explanations as to why I stopped at a third. One is practical, since, as I said, my fingers were starting to be stained and I didn't want to hold the mug on the ink for too long. Basically, the more I draw, the less good it looks. The second reason is simply aesthetics. I like that most of the pattern is hidden under the mug and it slowly rolls out of the side. It's like it's creeping up slowly. This way you can also enjoy the design more. I believe when you completely fill an area with a pattern, the whole area becomes this one thing, whereas if the shape is interesting, you have a different view of it. It's the same reason why most of my patterns aren't filling the page, but stop when the shape is interesting. That and the need to be able to hold the cup properly without hurting the design is why I stopped the process before doing the whole mug. Obviously, a mug isn't flat. It's pretty big actually, and finding a hand position to draw with proved to be quite hard before I used the wooden block. When I did the bottom of the mug in the beginning of this video, it was still right because at least it was flat. But when I started to get to the sides, I needed something to rest my hand on. This wooden cube is actually a puzzle. Most of the time it sits on my bookshelf as a cube because it looks nice, but sometimes I take it apart and build it again. There's only one way to build it, and it's very frustrating. If I feel like doing it again before I finish this video, I'll insert what it looks like when it's open now. The 4 pieces are not what you expect, and even taking the thing apart is hard to do. Where do you hold the cube and pull to open it? You have to touch the right pieces or it doesn't move. Anyway, this cube is the right size for drawing on the mug, and my wrist is definitely thankful for that. After a while though, I could also rest my hand on the side of the mug, which was large enough to continue drawing in a comfortable manner. I think I talked about everything that drawing entailed. I like the pattern, I like the result, I like my new mug. Like the video and tell me in the comments if you know what I could draw on next time. You can also leave regular drawing suggestions and I'll definitely consider them for future videos. Subscribe to see what cool idea we can do next and check out my Instagram and Twitter, amongst the other interesting links in the description. I'm Detroit, coffee is my life, and I'll see you around. Bye!